everybody.
Go.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ofelia Nojosa. I am the Family and Community Engagement Director at Illinois PTA. I am really happy to welcome everybody to today's Illinois PTA Spring Leadership Series. Today's workshop is called Growing Your PTA with National PTA School of Excellence. This program will give you the what and how. I am here tonight with Greg Hobbs. He is our president-elect also for Illinois PTA. We are going to start sharing what the School of Excellence program is. If you are thinking about what is the School of Excellence, National School of Excellence has a program that is called School of Excellence. That is a recognition program that supports and celebrates the partnerships between PTAs and schools to enrich the educational experience and overall the well-being of all the kids, all the children. If you enroll in this program, your PTA administrators, all the school community will be making a year-long commitment to identify and implement all the action plans for your school, implement all these action plans that will be based on the standards that National PTA have for family and school partnership and they will be informed by the PTA that they have a Center for Family Engagement. They also, this is School of Excellence, the families will be welcomed, they will be empowered, they will be supported for the schools and for the kids' success. Yes, also these PTAs will be a continuous improvement in their schools. So if you have any question, you can also, and you can always contact any of us at the Illinois PTA. We will be sharing and we will be helping everybody who will be happy to help them. So now we are going to go through the next slide. This is a timeline. This is gonna give you a really big picture of an idea of how the program will look like. Now, the enrollment right now currently is closed, but it's gonna be open on May 1st, and it's gonna be open until October 1st, if I am not mistaken, is when it closes. Then the next step will start on September, during this first period, that will be like step number 1. That is when you have to enroll. You have in this time, is when you gain support. You have to start contacting your administrators, your school community, the parents, and it depends on the size of your PTA. If you have a parent-teacher association only like that, especially for elementary school kids, the students are so young, so they might be not able to participate. But if you have a high school or a middle school where they have like student councils, you can also include them in these in this team, so their voice will be heard as well. Then the next step is from September to November. That's the second one that you can see, is a baseline survey. In this time is when, after you enroll and you have to set the first survey that you will be sharing with all your team, with all your school community. This survey is based on some questions that you will be receiving since you were enrolled. In this enrollment, you're gonna start receiving toolkit, leadership toolkits, a lot of information that will help you and will guide you and give you a better idea of how to start doing these surveys. So this survey is like, it's a specific 20, I think it's like 20, if I am not mistaken, 20 question that is like the basic questions that the National National School of Excellence program is going to ask you to survey all your community. You're gonna be surveying the teachers, your administrators, the parents, and in this case, if they applies, also the students. All these answers, you have to evaluate them, and then it's when you're going to start doing like an action plan. Well, an action plan, but based on the results of this survey. Or you're gonna be saying like, okay, my objective based on this on all the answers that we received will be, for example, can be mental health, can be like getting more and equity, more inclusive community. It depends because every PTA has their own needs and they are very diverse. And that's that I mentioned diverse. You have to be also be sure that when you are forming your excellence team, it has to be represent your whole community. If you your diversity, it has to show can be reflecting the demographics of your community. So it is very important that I have to remark this, that it has to show that. Then based on the objective that you're gonna be working on, it's when you move to the next step. Your step number 3 will set the shared objects. That's where I was telling that in this step is when you are concentrated all your work, all your action plans in only one object. This is going to be from September to November. And then is when you are going to be moving step number 4. That will be completing your initial application. So in this application, you have to already be working, setting like all the bases to start working with this action plan, with all this information. Then the next step that will be like step number 5 will be follow your roadmap of success. That's going to be through the whole year. That in this slide you can see that is for the school year. That is, it says here, use roadmap to excellence to improve family school partnership. This is when you are starting doing, like, based on your action plans, this is when you are basically doing all the changes, all the different activities, everything based on the action plan that you were forming at the beginning, that you were planning. So based on what you want to see, all the changes that you want to see at the end of the school year. Then the next step will be from March to June. That is doing like a final survey. During this time of this period of time is when you have all these like 3 months. So you can start doing, and you can start planning on, you have to now survey again all your community. So you will see, and they will be like a evaluate to see if people are noticing, and they are all these changes that you were thinking or you were planning since the beginning of the school year when you enrolled and you created your action plan really worked, and how they changed and how they impacted your community. Then it's gonna be like the last couple of steps. That's step number 7. That is like complete a final application. This has to be submitted by June 1st. In this application is just to will be like the final step, almost the final step. So it's when you are sending all the results from your second, and will be like at the end of the school year of the School of Excellence plan. All the results after will be like, sorry for being repetitive, for the second survey. So all your results, that's when we have to complete this final application, and it has to be submitted by June 1st. And then the last step that will be until August of it will be like completing on like you might say at the beginning of the next school year is when you are celebrating your excellence. That's will be like the end of all the projects, all the plans, and all the activities that you created and you established since the beginning of the previous school year to change and do all this as improvement as a community.
Ophelia, may I interject here?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I am missing something.
No problem. No, I wanted to point out something. What Ophelia just explained were the steps, and you notice that you can register on May 1st. I know the school year ends for most in May, but if you can start talking about the School of Excellence, and somewhere in June or July, get your name in that you would like to participate in the School of Excellence. That allows you to start working on things in August, because if you look at that second step there, you must submit that initial application with the baseline survey on November. If you wait until September, you only have 4 weeks to get a survey out. Whereas if you say you're going to enter the School of Excellence in August, you can have that survey ready to go on parent meet the teacher night, open house. You can get that out, get the survey results, and start thinking about your plans. Because literally holding off until September and then have to turn around quickly and get the survey and your initial application with baseline results in November. That's very difficult. So I'd suggest the earlier you can get it moving, the easier it'll be on everyone.
Thank you, Greg. And I just remember just to point out that this toolkit, all this information is available either in English and also in Spanish. So there is there, and just where you have to only go to the website. And go to move to the next slide. Here is it at the bottom is when you will see like pta.org/excellence. There is where you're going to start doing the first step. The first step is just to enroll. There, if you visit this link from now, as Greg was saying, from now to October, you can start enrolling, and you're gonna start as soon as you enroll, you're gonna start receiving emails, a welcome email, and it's going to be guiding you through all the steps to become the School of Excellence and to start having all these conversations and just start with this process. So the first step, like here is saying, just enroll and start getting support. So as Greg was saying, you can start right now, start talking about becoming a School of Excellence and start enrolling, and just don't wait until the very end. You have a very big period of time, but as soon as you can start talking right now, the better, so you can start creating like a plan based on that. This is the second step, as we were saying. This is the survey. This is just an example. This is an example of the survey that you're gonna be receiving on the next step after you enroll. You're gonna start receiving this. This is part of all the information that you will be required to take into consideration. This is the 20 based questions that I was referring before. This is a baseline. I think that we are allowed to add, but you cannot modify these basic 20 questions. So it's based on your objective. this is going to be the basic. So as you can see here, you have these are the questions, and here to your right, you're gonna have some options that will be like, for example, the first one that says our school has friendly signs, and from the beginning, you can all the surveys, all your people, your teachers, your parents, and in this case, if it applies, the students will say, "Oh yeah, we have the signs that are welcoming." And they will select if they are known. You have here some categories. So at the end, you're gonna be on all the information and all the answers that you're gonna be receiving here. Sorry, because I moved my mouse here. And you're gonna have the time to receive and send all these reminders to receive your surveys from September to November. So you have, it sounds like a lot of time, but sometimes you have some events in the middle. So it's good to start sending frequent reminders so you can start having a very good amount of surveys or responses here. Now here, the next slide is our step number 3, that is set a shared objective. As I was mentioning, this objective is going to be based on the surveys, the results of the surveys. So if you see, for example, that the majority of answers are falling into, and that people don't know if they exist or saying that they don't exist, that's a part where you can be saying like, oh, maybe we can be concentrate our all our efforts on creating a more welcoming environment for saying something. So this is an example that here, the focus area that here in this example is said that's just to ensure health and safety of the students. So here, an example of how you can set these objectives. The first one will be like promote a healthy lifestyle at home, at school. So these are just an example. Everything will be different based on your community. All PTAs are different based on the demographics. So these objectives will be set up from September to November. So these are all just examples. You can have more, you can have less, but at the end of the day, it's going to be your own objectives. You can have maybe more than one, you can have maybe one. It depends on you.
Ophelia, can I point out that
Yes.
the focus areas that you're seeing an example here for health and safety of students, but they also have a focus area for education. They also have a focus area for the arts. So if your team would decide upon that survey, it's like, oh, we might want to look at the education and getting families involved with reading. You can also pick the health and safety of your students. And then what you're seeing there are the objectives for that area. But each of those focus areas have objectives. You do not have to invent any. You're welcome to do that, but you know, all 3 focus areas will have objectives for you.
Thank you, Greg.
And I think this is where I take over.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Good.
All right. So what Ophelia has shown you is the survey that you send out. It is electronically, or you can print it out and you can send it to your parents electronically or through backpacks with your students. In the past, I've seen PTAs issue those surveys at their first meeting when parents are coming together. They hand those to the parents to fill out. I've seen them filled out on iPads. I've seen a table with computers on them, or just hand them the paper and let them hand the paper back to you. The neat thing with the computers, if you're able to do that, they'll usually finish the thing for you. Whereas if you hand them the paper, you might not get that back. So it's up to you how you would do that part. If you want to go to the next slide, Ophelia, step 4. Okay. So after that first survey is done, you're going to complete the application. And you do that between October 1st and November 1st. And it is a simple questionnaire. And you look at your surveys that you've collected and answers. Are you able to hear me still? Okay. So when I say you'll look at the answers, you only mark the area that had the most votes for each line item. You do not have to count every one. So for example, question number 1, most of the time, always, if always had 120 and then everything else had 50, all you do is check the box for the most votes, and you don't even have to tell them the votes. So it's that simple with survey results. And then once you've looked at all that and you've decided what your shared focus area is, you will go down and pick an objective that you'll work with the school. And this is very important. Make sure you talk to that school administrator and teachers. You know, if you're doing an education one, who has a great insight to that would be the administrator and the teachers. They might tell you we have reading engagement with families at home. That would be the objective you would pick then, and the focus area would be education. Always stay in touch with them and make sure you're working as a team, because there is a team for the School of Improvement. It'll be a few PTA people, it'll be some parents, it can be teachers, it can be, if you're district-wide PTA, you can include board members, you can include a superintendent. They all like being a part of that. And every school also has a school improvement plan, which is required by state. Well, what you're doing in School of Excellence is engaging families and parents, which is part of the school improvement plan too. So they are going to be receptive of becoming a part of this with you, but just don't surprise them totally, like, what did you do? And what did you, make sure you talk to the administration about doing this first. And then once you have filled out this initial application, you send it in to National PTA. And Ophelia, if you'll go to the next slide. This step 5, once that plan is submitted, they will send you back a toolkit for you to use. And it'll have access to new online, it's access, and they call it the roadmap to excellence. And on there, there's activities that National PTA has developed. They have partnerships with other companies that have developed, and they are giving you ideas to support your action plan that you're going to work on. So you're free to invent some things. If you're not great at inventing ideas, it's all there for you, like a restaurant menu that you can do. And they'll give you the ideas, tell you how to do it, tell you where the kit is online through National PTA, and you can utilize that as an event. And it's not just one event, it can be several things that you use through the school year. And I'm going to be honest, the schools I've been involved in, we did those events with our PTA meetings. We had them come in, we did the PTA meeting, and right after the meeting was over, we went into the activity for the families and the parents and the kids to do. So it's a great way of increasing participation at your meetings too. And like I said, you work on this plan through the school year. And then about the end of February, you really start thinking, okay, now we gotta start wrapping up our plan. So if you can move to the next slide, Ophelia. Okay, this would be step 6. And you see there, it's deploy final survey. I'm going to tell you, this is exactly what you sent out in August, September, or October to the parents. Same exact thing again. And the parents will give their view of how things have changed from the beginning to the present. And I always tell, it's a good idea to try and get more responses back the second round. And hopefully you will, because you've engaged your families, they've been coming to the school, and you've pulled some people in who were not there at the beginning. So when they come in and fill out the survey, it's always, it makes National happy, it makes Illinois PTA happy to see that, hey, we even got more results back the second round with the survey. So it's already showing that you engaged families, parents, grandparents, community leaders all in this. And if you want to go to the next one, Ophelia, step 7, June 1st. That is when you have to complete the final application. And in order to remain in consideration for the School of Excellence, you have to get this final application in. I have seen many do the steps, do the events, and they get to this final application and they don't turn it in. And when I talk about this final application, it is not pages long. It is just a brief description of what you did through the year, how you increased parent-family engagement, some of the activities you did, how it helped, what you learned from them, what you found out you need to improve on. You just write it in about a 2-3 paragraph thing, along with tallying the survey again, the second round. And from that point, National, you will send that into National, and then their panel will go through and look at what you did through the school year for School of Excellence. They decide on people who really increased the family engagement. Some schools sometimes just did average, they will get a certificate and they will be encouraged to continue on and try to improve. And then the panel will also look at schools across the nation, and they will pick those schools as a school of excellence. And when you become a school of excellence, it's for a term of 2 years. And it is a huge celebration for the community. It's a great end of the year, or beginning, actually, it's the beginning of the year, because when they are announced in August, then school's starting and you can host your first PTA meeting then and have the big ceremony. Hopefully COVID is gone by then, but you could have the PTA meeting and you can present your banner that you're winning that says you're a National School of Excellence with PTA. I've seen PTAs buy cakes and have like a little cake and punch reception afterwards, celebrating it. I've also seen schools bring back alumni, students who were in those elementary schools. And I'm talking 20 years ago, and they bring these kids back and they have them talk to the families, the parents, the students about what they're doing now in their life and how they, they show a picture of them from the yearbook. And then you see them up there talking about their work. They're in the Army now as a sergeant. So it's a really neat ceremony that you can incorporate into your meeting. So looking, okay. And Ophelia, if you can move to step 8. Yeah. Okay. And that's kind of what I was just talking about. The national PTA will check and ask each state to make sure the PTA is in good standing. I know you guys always hear us, please try to stay in good standing. To win this award, you must be a PTA in good standing. That means membership dues have been paid and you've done the things needed. So, and then once that happens, you can have this banner right there in the lower left. You see, that's the banners they will send you, and they can be hung in the gym, they could be hung outside on the school fence. It's wherever you want. I think a lot of them put them in the gymnasium, so it's there or wherever your PTA meetings are. And that is the celebration in August. And I know for a fact, Carolyn McCarty, the president of Illinois PTA, if you invite her, she would be glad to come and speak. I would also be glad, Ophelia would be glad, any board member, honestly. Just let us know. And please, if you sign up for this, let us know so we can help you through the process. Some of us have gone through it. We can help you with the deadlines because a lot of times people, oh, I totally forgot about that. If we know you're doing this and your focus area, we can help assist you through the steps, and we can give you some ideas of what you can do and how to go about it. And I think that if you want, is there one more slide or? Okay, so basically May to October 1st is the time that you want to register for this. And I will tell you, there is no obligation if you go in on May 1st to October 1st, you can sign up for your PTA. And Ophelia pointed out, they will send you an email with thanks for enrolling, and they'll kind of give you the toolkit needed. At that time, you can look at it. And if you find out, no, it's really not, we just don't want to take this on, you just bow out. They're not going to harass you. You're not obligated. And on October 1st, if you did not, or November 1st, if you did not turn your plan in, you just drop off as a PTA that's trying to achieve School of Excellence. So with that, I would like to thank you guys for coming out and watching. I noticed we got Candace online. I think Jim or Carolyn, if we can stop recording